Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to Afternoona Delight. We're Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unease.
Hey everybody, it's Leah Riley here, in and out of the frame.
Hello, it's Megan.
It's Amy.
So I'll tell you guys a story because we were in the car. I was in the car with my family, and Dane, my son, was asking me how many people we have on Patreon, how many Patreon members we have. And I was like, I actually couldn't remember like the number, but I knew it was a couple hundred. Like I knew for a fact it was a couple hundred. Turns out it's like over 400, which is actually more than my...
Really?
Yes, because I went and looked the other day, or just like yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, we actually have way more than I thought. But anyway, and so I told him like like a couple hundred, and he was like, what? He was like, I thought you had like 25 people. And I was like, excuse me, we are famous. No, I'm just kidding.
We are mid-level famous in the K-drama world.
I said, people actually pay to hear more from your mother. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, Dane.
Thank you, patrons, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell Dane that we have double that now.
Right, I know, because I did tell him, like, definitely didn't tell him the right amount. And then Hazel from the back seat chimes in, and she's like, that's super low. Talk to me when you have 100,000. 100,000. I go, Hazel, if we had 100,000 Patreon members, like, our basement would be finished. Okay? We don't have 100,000. Anyway, it was just so funny. The like, difference, like, Dane thought I had 25, and Hazel, no lie, did think we had, like, thousands and thousands. Like, she thought that
she was
that
like,
was... Yeah, she was like, wait a minute. Well, you're like nothing. Really
I'm happy with however many we have.
Me too. Like, if we had 25, I would be stoked to have 25. Like, yes. I was stoked when we had 25. Like, don't get me wrong. It's been a very like organic growth and everything, but it was just really funny that they both felt very differently about our numbers. And I do think Dane was like super surprised that anyone cares. I think he thinks, which makes sense, obviously, just he's like a 15-year-old boy, and so K-dramas are like super niche to him. And they are niche, but maybe not as niche as he thinks. I don't know.
I think, and I'm not saying this corresponds to like us like starting this, but I do think like since I think the pandemic was a really big like wave of people starting to get into it. And I think it's only been growing since then.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it grows every year because every year they're coming out with new K-dramas that reach a new audience, especially Netflix, you know, obviously has invested a lot in K-dramas. Anyway, all that to say, I care about all of you, whether there's 25 of you or 100,000. Thank you for listening to us as we near the end of our fifth year.
Fifth?
Which is insane.
Fifth.
Or
yes.
This is our fourth year.
No, 2021. We started. January 2021 was our first episode.
So 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, yeah.
What?
Did you really just count that on your hand?
Yeah, I did. Shut up.
I don't get it.
January 2026 will be 5 years.
So we'll be at 5. That's what I thought.
So the end of our fourth year. Yes. Well, no, the end of our fifth year. We'll be at 5 starting our 6th year.
But it's 5.
21 plus 20.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
26. We will have just finished 5 years.
Okay. Are we doing the math right? I don't know. Whatever.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Guys, 2026 minus 2021 is 5. That means we have been podcasting for 5 years.
Okay.
We have completed 5 years. When you are 5 years old, you are in your 6th year.
Okay. Thanks, Mom.
Okay.
You don't say you're 6 years old.
No. But she said we're nearing the end of our 5th year. And I said, yes, we're nearing
Am
the
I
end
in my 47th year when I'm 46?
Yes.
So this is like the Korean birthday system.
All Megan said is we're at the end of our 5th year podcasting. And that is correct. We are at the end of our 5th year.
Because you're not born at 1. You're born at 0.
I don't even want to talk.
Leah has had a day, everybody. So we're going to just...
Also, this is like, I will not understand it at a level that's sufficient to someone. I'm good.
Okay.
And I will say, I was just going to say, Poppy went to a book signing with me recently, and I think it was she was just really funny at the end. I heard her talking to Bronte and Nick about it, and she was like, I thought we were going to sit at the table just didn't sit there. She's like, people were talking to her.
So she was surprised that people
She
Yeah.
wanted
was
to come see you.
stunned.
Aw.
Because she's like, that's my mom.
She's like, they sold that. I mean, again, we're not talking like it wasn't like there was like 100,000 books in the bookshop, but she's like, they sold out the books. And I was like, yeah, because at a book signing, people are excited. And I'm like, it wasn't like everyone knew who I was and rushed, but they'd be like, oh, you seem nice enough. I'll go like get your book and
Right.
bring
Like,
it.
what do you write? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just funny. She was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares in my family. Like, they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Again, well, we're just mom, I think. That's it, you know. Oh, and one more thing, I saw Hadestown last night. Oh, look.
You didn't know. You didn't know. You
I
can't know until you
cried.
know.
So let me just say this. First of all, I didn't look up anything about it ahead of time, so I knew what myth it was based on, the Orpheus and Eurydice myth. I did know that.
Yeah,
But
that's all I knew going in.
right, I didn't know the vibe. It was like steampunk. It was like very like steampunk vibe.
It's jazzy. It's
Yeah.
everything.
I
Yeah.
didn't I liked it because I felt like I was watching something new and different and I didn't know. By the time the lights came on, I literally dropped my head in my hands and audibly sobbed, audibly wept into my hands. My mom is like alarmed. Neil is just laughing at me because he knows. And I was just like,
Did Neil
like,
feel anything watching this?
He's like, I had an itch in my nose.
Yeah, Neil's like, I don't know. I might have felt a stirring in my chest. Yeah, I don't know. My parents loved it. Like my dad actually was really cute. He looked up the whole he didn't want to be surprised. He wanted to know what was going on. So he actually read a synopsis of the entire musical ahead of time.
Okay.
And he was really cute because at intermission, he's like, it ends really neat. Wait till you see how it ends. I'm like, okay, Dad. He was really excited. He loved it. Like actually, my parents
Oh, that's
really loved
awesome.
it. And Neil liked it a lot.
Did the kids go?
No, I didn't
Okay.
know. I didn't take the kids. So yeah, I mean, I loved it. I said to my parents, I was like, I feel things deeply. I am sorry. Cause I cried the whole way out of the theater. Everyone else is what the fuck is going on with these? Like everyone was walking out like it was just another night. Meanwhile, like, yeah, meanwhile, I am crumbling
No.
as I'm leaving the theater.
No.
It was wild because I texted you guys right away and I was like, I can't really talk about this right now. Like I couldn't even talk to my parents about it. Like my mom kept being like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I can't talk about it." Like cuz
No, it rearranges your DNA. That's either I guess either it does or it doesn't. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't for everybody, but it did for me. And I like seriously, like there's before Hadestown and there's after Hadestown.
Yeah, it was very profound to me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. The singers, so where I live, what happens is we have a relatively small theater and often we get these touring Broadway groups that stop for one night on their way to like bigger cities. Okay, so they maybe are in bigger cities for like 2 nights. So that's why it's like a random Monday where they're like, this is the only night to see Hadestown before they move on to a bigger place. And we get that a lot, which is really, really nice because we really do get a chance to have some like really great acts.
And it's like really close to your house, right?
Yeah, it's 15 minutes down the road.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and it's a really nice old theater. I do love it. So and I've seen I saw Chicago there recently. So yeah, I loved it. It just wasn't, I didn't know what to expect. And so it felt really neat though that I'm really glad now that I didn't like look very, I'm glad I didn't like look up anything about it. Honestly, I'm glad I just went in only really knowing the myth and just like letting them tell me their version of it. And yeah, it was beautiful. The singers honestly were like, the woman who played Eurydice, her voice was like, I can't, it was out of this world. I was like, is this a record? Like, it almost didn't seem like a real person could be on stage singing. So anyway, thank you for both to you. Cause I would never have I would have been like, Hadestown, I don't know what that is. And I wouldn't have like told my mom to buy tickets.
That's what I was. When I saw it, it was on my daughter's choir trip. And it was only because I was part of their like tour that I was going to see it. And I knew nothing about it. And it wouldn't have been what I chose to see if I went to, New York on my own, just because I didn't know anything about it. And then after I saw it, I was like, oh, thank the stars that this is in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm glad I saw it.
I'm so happy.
It just was like a lot. Like I got home and I was like, I have a headache. I want to go to bed. I'm like mad because I was just so like, I was like in physical pain from crying so hard. I hate crying that hard. Like, you know what I mean? Because it just like, it makes your head hurt. I woke up this morning dehydrated. Anyway, so thanks guys. That's all.
Hooray.
Yay. Okay,
So
so
I was going to say a good segue.
okay.
A good segue.
Yeah.
You went in not knowing anything. You wanted to
Mhm.
not know anything.
Mhm.
However, when it comes to writing, not to say that everything is a formula, but everything is a formula. And there is a formula for writing that I think has taught us to see things in story that we never saw before. And we've talked about it before on the pod. And now we're going to dive a little deeper into it. And I'll let you take it away, Megan, because this was your topic.
Okay, so if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, then you heard us talk about save the cat scenes in K-dramas. And while we've definitely talked about it and defined it, we haven't devoted a whole show to it. But since we all watched episode 1 of Dynamite Kiss, which we'll talk about later, we were inspired to dedicate a whole podcast to the save the cat beat in storytelling and why it's important. So the Save the Cat concept originates from Blake Snyder, author of Save the Cat, the last book on screenwriting you'll ever need. He has a few other books too. But in that book, he sums up the concept quickly. Quote, I call it the Save the Cat scene. They don't put it into movies anymore, and it's basic. It's the scene where we meet the hero, and the hero does something, like saving a cat, that defines who he is and makes us, the audience, like him. End quote. I don't agree with him that they don't put it into movies anymore, because they definitely do, but that's beside the point. Save the Cat is a method that helps you create compelling characters that readers want to root for and are especially important when you start out with a character that readers or viewers might see as unlikable. I personally like the Save the Cat method because it reminds us what is the most important in storytelling: the characters, your hero, the hero's journey. So this concept plays into the bigger Save the Cat method in creating characters. So I'm going to talk about the first few writing beats as they are listed in Save the Cat. So bear with me because it also explains why save this, like the actual. Okay, so but also on the website,
Yes.
you can like find a movie and it'll pull out the beats for you, which I think is really interesting. Okay, so the first few writing beats are opening image, theme stated, setup, catalyst, and debate. And those beats, those like 5 beats, make up the traditional act 1 of a story. So the opening image sets the tone for the novel, kind of lets you know, is this going to be scary? Is this going to be funny? And often is like, a lot of times that's only like a 1 scene type beat. The theme stated is the hero's need or life lesson, and it's often like hinted at. The setup is your character's status quo, so the way they're currently living. And then there's the catalyst, which is the launching pad for the conflict of the story. And saving the cat often happens in this act 1. And in Save the Cat writes a novel by Jessica Brody, which she writes kind of like the novel form of this based on Blake Snyder's work. She explains why. Quote, you need to create a hero that has somewhere to go, someone with flaws, someone imperfect, someone for whom change is a necessity. You got to back way up on the runway so you have some takeoff room to fly that hero where they need to go. And sometimes, in order to do this, you got to start with a hero who is less than a peach. And you still have to make sure the reader will stick around to see the transformation take place. So what do? You save a cat, end quote. And saving the cat is not just reserved for unlikable characters. Sometimes saving the cat can be like a clue about the character, which I also really like. So maybe your hero helps that old lady across the street, not just to be nice, but because he recently lost his beloved granny who raised him when his parents died. So sometimes the save the cat moment really can be like a clue or a hint as to like who that character is. So let's throw out some ways that a character can save a cat without actually saving a cat. Because obviously save the cat is a metaphor.
Yes. So the first thing that I thought of, and it's not from a recent movie, but it's from The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, a movie that I absolutely love. And if you don't know The Truman Show, it's about character Truman, who is Jim Carrey, and he doesn't know it, but his whole life is a TV show, is a reality show. And everybody who he's ever known his entire life is an actor. The movie opens with Truman sort of like play acting in his vanity mirror before he gets ready for work. But it's undercut with the voiceover of the director of the whole Truman Show and explaining like what the Truman Show is, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But then we see Truman going about his day. And one of the first things that Truman does when he leaves for work is he says hello to his neighbors by name. Like he greets everybody by name. And he's like, good morning, so-and-so. And in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And it's this refrain that, like you said, Megan, it sort of sets up like the theme, because that refrain of what he says is going to play out for the rest of the movie. But also, it shows you that Truman is somebody who cares about the people around him, because you see him then he's walking to work, like on his way to work, and he's greeting everybody by name with a smile. Like, it shows you that he's very invested in this life that he lives in, and it immediately makes you, the viewer, sympathetic to this character who nobody else in the movie is sympathetic towards. And so I feel like that's kind of his save the cat, is that he's this guy who nobody has cared about other than he's sort of like their bread and butter. Like he is their, their living. And Truman cares deeply about everybody else. And then that makes you care deeply about Truman and what's going to happen to him throughout this journey.
Yeah, I mean, save the cat moments for me would be, I don't know, like in Aladdin when, he shares his food with hungry children. A lot of times those are like plot Muppets, the save the cat moments, because it's like, oh, you give up your seat for a pregnant woman on the bus. I don't know, maybe someone drops money and you don't keep it. You find them and you return it and you give it back to them. I think too, there's save the cat moments that end up being like, it ends up making the hero like lose something at the beginning too. So you see they like immediately, by being this like good person, they had to make a sacrifice. I feel like that happens in Indiana Jones, because I think he does something. I feel like in Later's Lost Ark, he does something where he like helps a tribe, but then ends up getting his artifact stolen by like the guy who doesn't care about like the indigenous people there. So those kinds of things it can be like, I'm going to talk about some K-drama examples later that are like really minor. So it can be really minor. It doesn't necessarily have to be this like big grand gesture, because readers and viewers, like, we're smart. We like clue in. Okay. Like, I think as a viewer, sometimes our listeners will tell us, they're like, you know what? I didn't even think about how that affected me until you like brought it up, because they don't realize that they're kind of conditioned to see characters a certain way. So sometimes you, as a viewer, as you see them do these little deeds and it's immediate clue in, you're like, oh, that's the good guy. Okay. He's going to be the good guy.
So I'm going to go with a
Okay.
save the cat moment that I think is like pretty classically save the cat, except it's not save the cat, it's save the litter of orphaned dire wolves. So in Game of Thrones, the very first episode of the first season, we have Jon Snow, who is like the waifish orphan, and he comes across, through a series of events, like dire wolf litter. The mother has been killed, trying to like protect them. And so there's, there are dire wolves for all the Stark children. And so that's the first thing, because he's the orphan. So he finds all these dire wolves and is like, there's one for each of the Stark children, of which I am not a Stark child. Except then there's the orphan, the runt of the litter is Ghost. So he ends up getting his own dire wolf. And so you see him, like, the thing is that, like, I don't want to get into like too many Game of Thrones spoilers, but the direwolves are very connected to this family. So him finding it doesn't feel like an accident, and kind of hints to some of his like hero's arc. And then also shows him to be a good guy who's going to save the little baby puppies. And also, as the orphan on the outside, showing that he's very generous to his like family that he's with.
Isn't he a bastard?
Yeah, he's the bastard.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like on the outs. So he's showing that, like, he's showing a lot of generosity of spirit to like his siblings or half siblings or whatever he's, meant to be with them. So it shows him to be like, he wants to be a good guy, even though he is his father's wife does not like him because she believes that he is the child of infidelity.
Yeah, we can talk about some other. I think for now some like non K-drama examples. So I do have one that actually I hadn't thought of until just, I don't know, for some it's not even related, but for some reason when you brought up Game of Thrones, it made me remember this. So Leon the Professional. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Yes, with Natalie Portman.
Yes. So I love this movie, and so Leon is an assassin, and he lives down the hall from kind of like a really like terrible family who's like really just, I don't know. The dad's kind of a jerk. And he has the guy has a daughter named Matilda, who is played by Natalie Portman. And so Matilda, like, her father's abusive. She leaves to go to the grocery store, I think. And while she's gone, some gangsters come in and they kill her entire family. And Leon just wants to like mind his own business. Like he knows shit's going down in the hallway, but like it's not his business. Okay, this is gangster world. Gary Oldman is on a warpath. Like Leon wants nothing to do with what's happening down the hallway. But Matilda comes home with her groceries. And in the I think in the movie she's supposed to be like 12, 13. She's supposed to be like she's a little girl. And she knows something happened because she's kind of street smart. And she walks by her front door and she sees like the foot of one of her family who's like dead. And immediately she knows she can't go in there or she's going to die too. So she just keeps walking and she knocks on the first door she comes to, which is Leon's door. And I mean, again, at this point, Leon's an assassin. Like he's not super likable. You don't really know much about him either. And she's ringing on the doorbell. She's starting to panic because no one's coming to the door. And the gangsters who are kind of like still milling about this her apartment are kind of like, didn't that guy have a daughter too? Like, where's the daughter? And she's starting to like panic. She's starting to cry. Leon can see her through the peephole, and she's even like, please open the door. Like it's such a dramatic scene where she's like begging him to open the door in this like whispered voice. And Leon again does not want to be involved because he knows it's going to cause problems for him, and it does. Spoiler: it completely ruins his life. But he opens the door and he lets Matilda in and he saves her life. And it is like, that is the catalyst for like the rest of the movie. I don't know if that, maybe that would kind of be a save the cat moment. To me, that kind of is. I mean, I know it's like sort of the meeting between the two characters, but to me, that's a really important moment.
That's really good. I like that.
I
That's
love
a
that
really
movie.
good one.
I love it so much.
That's a really good one. So I chose a TV show, a series on Prime, Fallout. Please don't at me. I did not play the video game, but I watched the show. So what I'm going to be talking about is via the
It's only in the show.
In the show, I don't know if it's the same in the video game, but it's actually on the Save the Cat website too. So, and the new season of Fallout, I think my son said it starts in a week. So I'm super excited. And this is not a show that I could watch without my son because it's very violent if you don't know anything about it. So here's the opening image, and I'll explain to you why it's a Save the Cat because you won't see it immediately. So in a color-saturated, retro-futuristic setting, he meets the 2070s. Fading Hollywood star Cooper Howard, played by Walton Goggins, entertains a group of wealthy white children with lasso tricks at a birthday party, while their concerned moms hide in the house listening to a TV report about a possible nuclear attack. Moments later, Howard and his young daughter Janie, played by Tegan Meredith, watch in horror as a mushroom cloud rises up over downtown LA and literal hell breaks loose. Howard tells Janie he learned in the Marines that if a bomb is dropped and the resulting cloud is smaller than your thumb, run for the hills. And if it's bigger than your thumb, she asks, Howard, a truth teller, admits, they told us not to bother running. And so it's called Fallout because it's everything that happens after this supposed nuclear attack. And the reason why that is a Save the Cat moment is it starts.
He has to save her computer.
It's almost like your computer was dozing off.
I was just listening and all of a sudden it was like, boom.
The reason why that's a Save the Cat moment is because everything that happens after that, like everything that you see that happens after that, I believe is hundreds of years later. Okay. Yeah. We cut to 219 years later.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And you don't see Walton Goggins again for a while. You don't see his character. But when you do see him, you find out he's still alive 219 years later, but not really. He's what's called a ghoul. And ghouls stay alive by this special means. And you're not really like human anymore. And the way that you have to survive is not the way that a human would survive. And ghouls are thought to be villainous. They seem to be villainous. Everything that you see him do is not great, but you know you started the show knowing who he was.
Yeah.
Knowing that he was human, that he was a husband and a father. And then the episodes like do flash back and forth. So it goes back and forth, through time and kind of meets up. And of course, ends on a big cliffhanger at the end of season 1. But I talk about making a possibly not very likable hero. You make him likable in the very beginning. You make him sympathetic, and then all of a sudden he's a villain. And what do you do?
I love
How are you not sympathetic to who you knew he was,
right,
kind of thing, and how he got to be this character who looks basically like Skeletor.
Yeah.
and Voldemort had a baby.
Do you have any more, Leah? Any other examples? It's okay. We can move on. I just didn't know if you.
But I have an idea. What if we talked about Save the Cat moments in our own books?
It's in the script, Leah.
I know. Duh. I was trying to
I was like,
honestly weave it the next
I'm
moment.
sorry.
She's trying to make it exciting for the audience. She's like, how
Yeah.
about?
Sorry, do that again.
Okay. But
you
I
want?
have a really great idea. No, I think
What?
it's funnier like this, where you're just all dog me. I think just keep it. I'm trying to play for. I'm trying to hit the beats. I'm trying to
I
hit the
wasn't
beats.
looking at the script. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at the beats.
So funny.
I'm trying to make it exciting, everyone. So what if we each share a Save the Cat moment we have done?
Wait, what? In our books?
Because we've done that.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
I know. It's all coming together. This is called synchronicity.
Why don't you go
With this book right here, I just happen to have. Oh, it's like the Truman Show. Would you like this cup of Senka? It's up and gives you pet. Why, look, right here, I have saved a moment where my hero literally saves a cat. My book is a new release. I don't actually have the author copy, like the official copy yet, so I still have the proof. But The Emma Effect came out December 2nd. And in this, I actually want to just like read a paragraph of it.
Go for it.
So the setup is that my hockey hero is at home and he hears yowling outside. And there is a cat that has appeared in his backyard, and the cat is in active labor. And so this is his save the cat moment. And he has to do something about this cat, and he has no idea what to do. So because he is a man, he's like, I'm going to call my big sister because she's just had a baby. And I bet she knows what to do when it comes to labor. So I'm just going to give you like one really quick, let's see. Okay. His sister was an expert, right? He hit speed dial. Hey, I need you. What's wrong? Brooke's voice was groggy. A baby fussed in the background. It's 7 a.m., Gail, and I've been up most of the night. Someone better be dying. So there's this cat on my deck, and she's about to have babies. And I thought since you just had Benji, are you seriously calling me because you thought having a human baby makes me qualified to help deliver kittens? I mean, birth is birth. You've got recent experience, more than me at least. And then she says, oh my God, stop, just stop. She broke off in exhausted laughter. You realize I had one baby, not a whole litter, with doctors, drugs, wonderful, wonderful drugs. And then it just keeps going back and forth. But it's just, I like the idea of him being like, I want to save her, but I'm kind of a dum-dum. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to call my sister and be like, you know about birth and babies. It's kind of like almost like a Gone with the Wind throwback of like, I don't know nothing about birth and babies. And yeah, so he saves the cat. He delivers the baby. And actually he ends up calling, the sister basically tells him to get stuffed, hangs up. And then he calls the heroine because he's like, well, you're also really smart. So you could come help me. And then he also has like abandonment issues and like father trauma. So like a lot of like the save the catting also. So it ties into like, he's going to go the extra mile for the cat, but then also like raising kittens and like becoming a cat dad. Like how is that like healing and like pushing on his own vulnerabilities?
Love it, love it, love it. I have a couple that I wanted to share, so I'll be quick. The first one, I just happen to have the book right here. It's called Holding Out for a Cowboy. And Holding Out for a Cowboy is a second chance romance. Believe it or not, I wrote a second chance romance between estranged high school sweethearts. Like they literally have not spoken in 10 years. My heroine, Casey, is a hairdresser who is a beauty school dropout. And she is trying to get her degree again, her cosmetology license. And she has an interview at the cosmetology school where she dropped out. And first she oversleeps. Then she is getting ready and she singes her hair and has to last minute cut bangs because she singed her hair with her curling wand. Then it's winter and there's some slick and she drives off the road and hits like a street sign. I think it's a highway. So it's a highway sign, but it's like a deserted highway. Nobody's out there, and like burns her car, and she's like deserted, like on the side of the road, has a bloody nose, had just like stuck a wad of tissue up her nose like a tampon, like she actually says that line. And she's like, someone's gonna find me, right? And coming the opposite way on a motorcycle is the hero who is supposed to be getting married that day to somebody who is not her, and she knows this. And he's coming back towards home, sees her on the side of the road, stops, basically rescues her, can see that she's injured. And she's like, I have to get to this interview. And he's like, you need to go to an ER. She's like, I need to go to this interview first. And he's like, fine, I will take you to the interview if you promise that you'll go to the ER afterwards. He not only takes her to the interview, but then he takes her to the ER and he stays with her and waits. And he has a thing with hospitals too because of, stuff in his past. So it's a big deal that he's at the hospital. And then, has her car towed because he's also a mechanic. He's a cowboy and a mechanic. Has her car towed and fixed and takes her home and thus restarts their relationship. So there's that, holding out for a cowboy. And then this is a little bit different. So Cowboy of My Dreams, which is in the same series, it's three brothers. Cowboy of My Dreams is also a second chance romance because Can't Stop, Won't Stop, between two up and coming musicians who had a very public falling out and a supposed scandal. And I like to think of this as kind of like an opposite Save the Cat, but it still endears you, I think, to the heroine. So the heroine is renting the oldest brother's guest house of the three brothers, was renting the guest house, thinks it's just for her and nobody else should be coming there. And unbeknownst to her, the hero stumbles in the middle of the night drunk, like he has just come home to escape like another scandal that he's part of, thinking that nobody lives in his brother's guest house. So stumbles in. She hears somebody come inside, thinks it's a prowler, hits him over the head with a vase. And that's their reintroduction. So I call that my like anti-Save the Cat, but also I think it endears you to the heroine because it's like, yeah, she's badass. Mm-hmm. And she's gonna save herself.
Okay, so I have two, but I'll do them quick. So the first one is my alien book. So my pen name Ella Maven. So this is Backy. And this one was really fun because it was Stranded with an Alien. It was like a series I did with some other alien romance authors, but basically the heroine is crash lands on this alien planet. It's really cold, it's snowy, and she finds this little cabin and she just hunkers down inside. She doesn't know what to do. She's on a foreign planet, and the hero, it's his hut. It's his little, but he doesn't want to, he can't crash it. So he leaves her little presents it's meant to be a holiday story too. So he leaves her things outside. He's he'll leave her food, blankets, and he just leaves them outside the tree. So he's kind of like a Santa alien. And then it's because I think romance is interesting sometimes because sometimes Save the Cat can be a little different because you kind of want the Save the Cat to be in front of who he's sometimes I think you're less trying to sell the hero to the reader, but you're trying to sell the hero to the heroine or vice versa. So sometimes I think the Save the Cat moments are a little bit different in romance novels because of that. So I don't have a paperback copy of this. It's somewhere in my house. I don't know where, in a bin somewhere. But it's called Dirty Talk, and that was a series I wrote under Megan Erickson under the Mechanics of Love series. All the first two heroes are mechanics. But anyway, that's a romance between a mechanic and a single mom. And I wrote an extremely dramatic Save the Cat moment. It's insane. Looking back, I'm what was I thinking? I think I just wanted the hero to be wet or something. I don't know. So there's a school bus crash. So the little girl this is contemporary. This is my Megan. It's this is my Megan Erickson books that take.
I was like, that'd be amazing. You're and then the alien school bus crashes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll write that one day. But anyway, so the school bus crashes with and the heroine's daughter is on it, and it crashes in a river. I wrote it a long time ago, but I know they're in a river and there are kids washing down the river. And they save everyone except they can't find the heroine's daughter. And so of course the heroine is losing her mind. And then all of a sudden the hero just emerges from the water like a beautiful mermaid holding her daughter that he had just swam downstream to save. It's incredibly dramatic, but that's kind of the Save the Cat moment where I'm trying to, because he's a little bit of a player at the beginning, so I'm trying to sell him as a romantic hero to the heroine as well as the reader.
That just made me think of another one of yours, Leah. The Fawn.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I've got that somewhere. Yeah, I have it. It's the smoke jumper. The smoke jumper who jumps out of the plane. He's fighting the fire. It's closing in, and then there's a little stirring in the bush, and it's the fawn, and he fucking loses it. His leg burns off as he saves them because it's a Beauty and the Beast story.
It's not funny, but
no, I mean, I just kept trying to explain what I was doing. I'm so I've got a fawn and the leg burns off.
It's like,
But he protects the fawn. The fawn, hashtag fawn lives.
Fawn lives. Yeah.
that's an amazing Save the Cat moment. I
Chapter 1.
forgot about. I remember the fawn too. Amy, how do you remember this stuff?
Yeah, I forgot about my fawn. Thank you.
I forgot about the fawn. Way
I
to
will
go, Amy.
never forget the fawn.
That is Best Worst Mistake, which is it's actually a relatively close, except for the fawn, Beauty and the Beast retelling. Like it's a very, I would say, like it's a closer retelling than the Emma Effect is to Emma. So yeah, so that's like the prologue that kind of talks about how he ends up in the cabin in the woods as like the mysterious brooder.
The fawn.
Take
All
fawn.
because of the fawn. Well, it's been a while since we've done a K-pop rec of the week. But Megan, I think you have one.
I do have one this week because I can't. It's in my head. I keep like singing it to myself. So it's "I'm Not Cute Anymore" by Illit. I just think this song is so freaking adorable. I have not been into a lot of this group's music. I think it's totally fine. It's just like not my vibe. But there was something, and like a lot of their songs are extremely cutesy, and I think that's
Yeah,
why
it's a very young group. Like it's a really young group.
Yeah, it's a really young girl
and
group, and a lot of their stuff is like uber young and cutesy. And again, totally fine, just not my vibe. And they kind of, I love this song because you can tell they're trying for like a little bit of a more grown up sound, but the song is still really fucking cute, and so are they. Do you know? And like they know it. Like this feels very tongue in cheek that this song is called "I'm Not Cute Anymore." And it's very catchy. I love it. And what I'm also finding that I absolutely love is that there is like a trend, like a TikTok or Instagram trend where they play this song. I can't even like describe it, but like someone like stands on a chair and there's someone below them and they like hold their hood and the person below tries to like walk and it looks like you're holding the hood of like a little kid. And I've seen like grown men do this trend, and that's I love it. Like they're like, you know, a lot of the K-pop idols are doing it, and I think it's adorable. And yeah, I really like the song. I am kind of proud of this girl group because I just think it's a really good sound for them. Like it feels like an evolution, but it also feels like them, and I respect that. So it's called "I'm Not Cute Anymore" by Illit, and it's their group is
And we will share it in the show notes.
Yeah. So it's K-drama time, ladies and gentlemen. It is K-drama time. So let's just, you know,
we went long before the K-drama time, so let's dive in.
But let me tell you, K-dramas love to save the cat. Like they love to save the cat. As soon as now you're gonna see it. Now you're gonna point it out in every K-drama you watch. Someone saves the cat. Okay. So yeah. So what are some save the cat moments that really resonated with you and made you see a character differently or not? Just, you know, what are some save the cat moments you like in K-dramas?
What's happening in Leah's room?
I knocked something over because I got excited to clap my hands because I wanted to do my save the cat.
Go ahead.
Okay, we'll do it then.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is again like a classic save the cat moment, and I picked a really popular drama so that like everyone would know it, which is at the beginning of Goblin, Guardian, the Great and Lonely God. We don't save the cat, we save the pregnant mom who's going to have the Renesmee baby. So he is like sitting there like a little gargoyle, sad soul gargoyle, like looking out at the city when this woman is got like hit. It's a hit and run. And he's basically like, you know, shit happens. Shit happens in this cold, hard world. You know, I'm a 900-year-old goblin. I've seen a few things. But he's like compelled, like he ends up being compelled to go down, and she is pregnant. Is she in a bucket of blood? Like I feel like,
oh yeah, in snow. It's like
it's
she's bleeding from everywhere.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, it just hit me. Like now I was like, what pregnant woman?
This is like the original buckets of blood.
Buckets of blood.
All the blood. And he saves her, and that is fortuitous. Well, it starts off a story because she was meant to be, so the heroine was marked for death and survives because of his intervention. And lucky for him, that heroine is his heroine in the drama, the baby inside. So he like basically like the goblin's bride is the baby. So he saves the pregnant lady, saves his future goblin's bride, unbeknownst to him, and sets off this like, you know, cosmic multi-time lapse love story in that moment.
I can't believe that I did not think to do that. I'm so glad that you did.
It just
'Cause
felt
that
like a
is
classic, like a
that's
perfect.
so good. So good.
So we see this goblin who is like removed from humanity and broody, but here's him like we know he's a good guy. We
Yes.
know he's the
And
good
he's
guy.
even saying, he's like, I don't interfere in humans' lives. But then, like, the entire drama, he's interfering in every human's life.
Would you like this delicious six? I mean, I think what's funny now is when I first watched it, I thought nothing of the fact that he stopped the suicidal ideation with a Subway sandwich. I was just watching to watch, like, okay, here we
Me
go.
too.
We didn't know about product placement yet. Like,
But it's also very obvious. Like when I think, I'm like, I didn't have a
yes.
single critical thought in my
Subway.
brain of like, I was
Nope.
just like, I think I was still just like, okay,
True
I'm
love.
absorbing a lot of new right now. And like, yeah, on the rewatch, it's like the Truman Show. You want to die, but this delicious foot-long,
$5 foot long.
I now want to live. Tasty. Life is good. Ludicrous.
I prefer Jersey Mike's personally.
I've never eaten Jersey Mike's.
We have a Jersey Mike's
And we
here.
have one
And
right by my house. I've never
I
had
My
tried
it.
whole
it.
family is obsessed.
I found it. I tried a Philly steak sandwich thinking of you, and it was mid.
No.
Okay.
No. That
Because
would
I
be
tried
terrible.
it and I was like, this is not good.
Do not eat it. No. They're cold. They're cold cuts. Absolutely don't eat a Philly cheesesteak there.
Okay. Because I got it thinking of you.
Thank
and I
you
was
for
like,
thinking of me. You come to Philly and I'll take you for real Philly cheesesteaks. Okay, so this is the one, honestly, this is the first one that came to mind. So this is the thing. I know I just talked about how I wrote about my hero literally saving a drowning child after a bus crash. But one thing I like about K-dramas is that I think that their save the cat moments often are very subtle, and I love it. So I'm going to talk about Weak Hero Class, because if there is a chance for me to talk about Weak Hero Class, I'm going to take it. So, Jesus, Leah. So in Weak Hero Class, you don't really meet Suho for a little bit. So the main character is Shion. He's kind of like he's the main character, okay? And then you have Suho. So the first time you meet Suho, so this is set in a school, like 6 guys from like the high school baseball team like clamor into this classroom, and they're like, "Where's Suho?" And the first time you really see him is like the guy in front of him is kind of like elbowing him, and he's asleep on his desk, and he's like, "Suho, like these guys are here for you." And the guys are pissed because they think Suho hit on the girlfriend of one of them. And Suho's just like, "I don't even remember who she is. I don't know. Not really into her. She's not my type." And of course the guy like loses his mind, and it's like 6 guys on Suho fighting him. And there's like baseball bats involved. Like they're swinging baseball bats at him. And desks are scattering, like everyone gets up because it's a fight. And of course Suho, well, you learn he knows how to fight. Okay, so he takes all 6, he like dominates all 6 guys. All 6 guys, he like takes the bat from one, and he's like funny about it as he's doing it. And so obviously it creates all this like chaos in the classroom. And Sion is, all he wants to do is sit at his desk at the front of the classroom and work on his schoolwork. That's all he wants to do. And you learn that about Sion. But there's like a fucking fight, okay, in the classroom. And the fight finally ends, and Suho is like finds himself like near Xian's desk. And Xian, there's his pencil case has fallen on the floor in the fight. So his pencil case is on the floor and his pencils are everywhere, and he's like, you can tell he's like not happy about it because this fight like interrupted his schoolwork. And you think, this is great. Now Suho's gonna like bully Xian because he's mad about his pencils, because that's kind of, everyone bullies Xian. But Suho just is like, did I do that? Did I knock your pencils down? And Xian just kind of stares at him. And Suho's like, gathers up his pencils, puts it all back in his pencil case, puts it on his desk, and he's like, I'm so sorry. So sorry. And he walks away.
That's
it's
amazing.
The saving of the fucking pencils. It gets me every time. It's so simple. It's so simple. But it's the fact that Suho respects someone else's property and respects that, like, and even though he didn't start the fight, he's still like, I did it. So there's like a humility to it too, because he's not like, it wasn't my fault. I didn't start this fight. Like, it's everything about Suho's character wrapped up into that one scene. And he doesn't save a cat, he saves pencils. But it means like so much to me. And it's funny because I rewatched the scene today because I was like, I just want to double check that it happens that way. And it does. And it's like, the pencil thing and his apology gets like, all over again. I felt like,
I love it. Just hearing it.
Yeah. I felt like that stirring in my chest where I was like, like he's one of the best characters of K-drama of all time.
I love it. So I don't think I need to sell the character. I can't, I think about this like at least once a week, maybe a little less since I've watched it, but I'm going to talk about Love Scout, Eunho from Love Scout, because I don't, like in the very beginning of Love Scout, Eunho is played by Lee Jun-hyuk, and you can tell he's a green flag character, like to begin with, because he's just the way that he treats people on his way to work, when he gets to the office, like just very considerate of everybody there. But in Love Scout, it's an enemies to lovers story. So we've got Eunho, who is trying to keep his manager from getting poached to work at a different company. And we've got Kang Ji-yeon, who is a recruiter who is trying to recruit his manager to a different company. And basically she is, sets up this meeting with the manager on top of this, temple that's up on a hill, and Eunho shows up and basically like kills the deal. And she's pissed at him. They have words, and suddenly it's nighttime. I don't know how this happens because it's broad daylight when this whole meeting happens, and then suddenly it's nighttime, and Jiyeon has to walk down the steps outside, to get to the bottom of the hill. And they're long. I mean, we're talking like this, it's in between a hill and a mountain, like it's big, right? And of course her phone dies, so she has no light. And all of a sudden a light shines from behind her, and it's Eunho, and he guides her down the entire way without a word because they don't like each other. And they get to the bottom, and she's basically like, let's never meet again. And they part ways. And of course, the way that Love Scout works is he ends up, for reasons, losing his job and becomes her assistant. So just a great save the cat moment for an enemies to lover. Like, it's not, like you said, Megan, it's not selling us on Eunho. Like, we are sold on Eunho from the moment he's on screen. It's selling Jiyeon on Eunho, even though she does not want to be sold on him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think save the cat moments in romances sometimes can be slightly different, but you're still trying to get the same point across where you're trying
Absolutely.
to So I have another one, and it's funny because I went back and watched this scene today, and I think I remember it as being bigger, but the fact that it like stuck with me, I'm going to bring it up anyway because it definitely resonated with me and I remembered it afterwards. So in Mr. Plankton, freaking love Mr. Plankton forever and ever. Udo Wan's character, he's in this like office and he has this really big fish tank. And they show him like taking care of this fish tank, and like everything else in that office is shitty. Okay, like nothing, like it's a crappy office. Udo Wan's character he has like old clothes, like nothing is nice, but this fish tank is fucking nice. Okay. And I know what fish tanks cost. It's a lot. So it's a really nice fish tank. But he has a customer who really wants to, I'm not going to get into like all of that, but basically a customer really wants him to do a job for her. And he says no, and she's not taking no for an answer. So she shows up with like a bunch of her goons, and one of the goons picks up Udo Wan, tosses him, and he smashes into the fish tank and breaks it. So there's water everywhere. And at this point, you're like Udo Wan's character is like very unlikable for a while in this drama. And I was still like kind of getting a feel for him because he's not super charming yet, at least because this is still at the very beginning. But when he crashes into the fish tank and he falls and he's bloody and he looks at his beta fish that's like flopping on the floor, and you can tell that's what pisses him off the most. Because he looks at the fish and he swears. He doesn't care that he's like bloody. It's like he cares about this fucking fish. And then when I watched it back, like that's really all that happens is he just looks at this fish and like swears. But like it stuck with me that like that's what he really cared about, was that like she like killed his fish.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. More, and I went back to an OG, which is Crash Landing on You. And I think there's kind of like a couple instances in the first episode. And again, I think some of it's for us. I think some of it's for the heroine. So if you don't know Crash Landing on You, our heroine, Yoon Suri, paraglides and gets caught in a tornado and gets taken like Dorothy to Oz from South Korea to North Korea. And she's in her like glider parachute, like tangled up in a tree. And who should find her but a North Korean soldier, Captain Ree. And she's an heiress. She is used to being treated a certain way. And she basically, is telling him, to untangle her, to save her, blah, blah, blah. She ends up falling out of the tree and he catches her. But they're both very like having much animosity between them. And he saves her, and we have this like, body up against body moment, and then puts her down. And then basically like he can't trust her. Like he's going to chase her and capture her. And so she makes a run for it, and he goes to chase after her and steps on a landmine and knows that he can't lift his foot or he will be blown to bits. And she leaves him and she runs, saving her own life. Right. And his men come and they save him from the landmine, whatever. So like she's basically left him for dead. Right. That whole first episode is basically like her trying to escape. And she instead just makes it back to the North Korean town and is about to be found out, about to be caught. And she is grabbed and goes over her mouth so nobody hears her. And who is it who saves her? But it's Captain Ree. And so, great save the cat moment for us and for her. But also like we know he's going to be the hero. So it's more for her than it is for us, right? Because she knows that at that moment that this man who's chased her like all day long, who she thinks was going to kill her, has now just saved her life, right?
I think it's a good one because you would think like it speaks to his. I think it's a good save the cat moment when he saves her because it speaks to his character that he wasn't like, I'm going to kill you because you were going to leave me for dead. He's still like, no, I'm still going to save you.
And the one that I think is for us, like in case we had any doubt that he was going to fall in love with her, and this was before we knew anything about K-dramas, but it's one of those things where the episode ends, and then we get that tiny flashback to his perspective when she's stuck in the tree before he makes himself known to her. He's watching her and grinning. And like we see no grin from Captain Ree. Like Hyun Bin does not grin this entire episode. And then we get that flashback and he's watching her as she's like trying to radio home and frustrated that she's stuck there, doesn't know where she is. And yeah, so that was the save the cat moment, I think, for us. Be like, in case you had any doubt whatsoever that he was going to fall in love with her, he's going to fall in love with her.
Can I do a save the cat one that's
go
me and ludicrous?
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't feel like I talk about Boys Over Flowers enough. And in Boys Over Flowers, there is a amazing save the cat moment.
Oh God, with the heroine.
At the very beginning of the first episode with the heroine. So we have, it's just like, what is even happening? So we have the hero. The hero has bullied a student to the point they are ready to end their life. They're going to jump off, I think it's the school.
Mm-hmm.
And the heroine is making a delivery to the school for her family's dry cleaning business. So she's not at this fancy pants school. She's just like working class girl, bringing the laundry in and sees the like suicidal ideation and is like, uh-oh, I gotta like get to. She ends up getting on the roof, and as he like jumps, she like catches him.
Like there's no way physics is not a real thing.
And then brings him back. Like her picture gets taken. She's like, so she's immediately established as this like brave, compassionate class warrior who's like willing to stand up for the little guy, which is like, again, classic save the cat. Like that is the first moment you interact with the heroine. And what happens
fantastic.
For the rest of it, she's the working class, underdog, plucky girl who the, poor little rich boy can't get enough of. Amazing. And she like won't take his shit and won't let him get away with the consequences of his actions. Is this a good drama? Look, I stan it.
Yes. I mean, like, yeah. Yes. Even if it's not. Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's problematic and I like it. I like it. I enjoy it. Let me have it. I'm a child I grew up in the 90s. Let me have it.
Okay, I'm going to say one more, and that is from My Name. Yoon Ji-woo, played by Han-so Lee. So her character has to do a lot of stuff that you're not going to agree with throughout the drama because basically she devotes her whole life to getting revenge for her father's death. And in doing so, she has to lie to a lot of people. She's like lying to everyone in her life. It's a very single-minded like focus, and you're not going to always like agree with her decisions. So it is important that you sort of like understand though at her core who she is. So The first episode, she's still in school because the first episode basically is like shows how her father died. Her father died when she was in high school. So she is bullied in high school, even though her dad is actually an undercover cop. But he plays the role of like a junkie. So like a drug addict basically. And so she is then like bullied as like a junkie's daughter. Again, I'm kind of using the words that they like use in the drama. So please don't take offense. But okay, so she's bullied a lot. So there's like a core group of girls that bully her, and she sort of just she doesn't like cower, but she doesn't fight back. She just kind of like ignores them. She like sort of lets it roll off her back. She doesn't like argue. She's just like kind of seems like content to be an outcast. But in the first episode though, at one point they're bullying like another girl. They like take this girl's phone or something, this like core group of girls. And the other girl is like cowering. Like she's clearly like not made of strong stuff. And that's when Hanso Yi kind of like she cracks. It's like she sees this other girl being bullied. Like she'll take it on the chin if it's like her, but when she sees this other girl bullied, she just like cracks. And I think it's in large part like she's like feeling the effects of the bullying, but she does stand up for this girl. So she basically like beats the crap out of these bullies. She gives the phone back to the girl. Like that's like kind of the last thing she does before she leaves school. And I like it because you, like I said, you're not always going to agree with her decisions throughout the drama. So I think it's nice to see at her core like who she is, and she's going to stick up for other people. Are there any Save the Cat moments that felt a little too on the nose? And the only reason I ask this question is because I have two dramas that I wanted to talk about. The first is Squid Game, because it makes me laugh every time because he actually does save a cat. And I remember like watching it because it's Squid Game, the first one. Gi-hun is very unlikable. Like immediately he's very unlikable. And I almost felt a little bit like the screenwriters are like, no one's going to like this guy. Give him a stray cat to feed. And that's what he does. He like in episode in like the first half hour, they give him a cat to feed, a stray cat to feed. And you're like, okay, he must be a good guy. He's feeding the stray cat. And then I want to talk about episode 1 of Dynamite Kiss, but not in a bad way, because that is what inspired us to do this podcast on Save the Cat. So episode 1, let me look up their names so I'm not just saying. Okay. So Dynamite Kiss is airing right now. I've still only seen episode 1. I'm going to keep watching, don't worry, but that's all I'm watching right now. So it's Jang Ki-young and An Eun-jin. And in the first episode, I'm just so obsessed because An Eun-jin's character, so that's Go Da Rim, she has so many Save the Cat moments. And I love it so much. So first of all, she saves him because she thinks he is going to harm himself. So that's like number 1. Like immediately she's like,
he does not need to be saved. Like,
he doesn't need to be saved.
Yeah.
He actually like loves himself. Like he's okay. And then they have where the old lady drops a whole bunch of tangerines.
It's not an old lady. It's a pregnant lady.
Oh, it's a pregnant lady. Okay. I can't remember. I'm sorry. So she drops a whole bunch of tangerines, and Darim's like dropping everything to help this woman pick up her tangerines.
In the middle of the street.
In the middle of the street.
And she makes him help. She's like, get over here.
Yeah, she's like, pick up the tangerines. No, she doesn't say that. But that's what she's like, help me. And isn't there one other thing too? She does one other thing. Doesn't she?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure she does like another thing. I remember watching it and we were all laughing because we were like, oh my God, there's so many Save the Cat moments. I loved it. Like, because Dynamite Kiss to me had that feel that like, I think Dynamite Kiss like knows what it is. Do you know what I mean? So it felt like I was kind of like in on it, that they like wanted to show how good of a person she was. It just was very funny because it was like 3 things.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Like, as far as like being too on the nose, the example I'm going to give is one that's in on the joke. And that's why I love it so much. And that's Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. And so in Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, we have Shin Min-ah is Yoon Hae-jin. She's a dentist who is kind of like at like a crossroads in her life and her career. And she decides to move to this small town and open up a dental practice. And it's a very tightly knit small town, right? And every time, and like one of the first people that she meets is Kim Sun-ho's character, which is Hong Du-shik. And he's very cute and very flirty, and she wants basically like nothing to do with him, right? But then you go through the first episode, and every time she needs something, like I need a handyman, I need a realtor, I need like whatever it is, they're like, oh yeah, I've got somebody. Just go over here and go to this, to this like bus, like on top of the hill. And every time she goes to find the person that she needs for this job that she needs done, it's always Du-shik. Like so nobody ever says, go find Du-shik. They just say, oh yeah, I know a guy. Here's where he is. And then she goes, do you do everything in this town? He basically like takes out like a little wallet and it unfolds and it's like a million like badges that show like all the things that he's certified to do.
Yeah, he's going to save the cat, the dog.
Like everybody,
everything.
Anything you need, he will do it. And he's happy to do it. And it's so good because it's such a great setup for the type of character that he is. And he is somebody who like wears a mask to hide his trauma by doing things for everybody else.
Yeah, and I like that too. There's some save the cat moments where it like hints at the broader like theme of his character, and that is one of them where he's like, I'm going to save everyone
because I can't
save myself,
somebody else,
or and somebody else.
Yeah,
I love that. Okay, well, I think that is it for us for Save the Cat. I am very curious if you guys have any, and that like you guys, as in you listeners, have any that come to mind. And I'm also curious now if you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna notice this now all the time.
Right. Like you can't not notice it now that you know about it. Sorry.
You're gonna be like, that's a Save the Cat moment. And it's okay. It's okay. It's funny. Just because we can like dissect stories doesn't mean we like them less. So
exactly.
Yeah. But you'll never unsee it now.
Right. Very true.
It's a lot of fun. So tell us your favorite Save the Cat moments, and thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.
Annyeong.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoon of Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoon of Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!